Well, I got some new hiking boots to try out. These are the Salewa. The model is the MS Alp Made Mid PTX. That's an whole lot. Quite familiar with the Salewa as a brand, but I've never had any of their products, so never used any of their boots. They make some really good mountaineering boots, but again, it's going to be for me the first time using any of them. Let me unpack these. So this is what they look like. There's a medium high boot or shoe, so it should provide some support around the ankles. They're kind of an entry level hiking or trekking boot. They're not their high-end ones. Now that's one very interesting aspect as well. I think it's on the box somewhere, but they promise a 100% blister-free experience. Now that's a big call, obviously. None of the boots I ever used, or shoes for that matter, have been free of any annoyance. Mostly under the ball of the foot, under the toes, I can feel some rubbing, and obviously the obvious spot is the heel. But they promise a 100% blister-free experience, so we're gonna try that out. So I'm gonna use them for the first time today. I'm gonna walk about 20 kilometers in total, at least that's the plan, and on mixed terrain. So I'm gonna look for some rocky areas, because I'm always very keen to know how they perform on rock, and that's the kind of terrain I use the most. And one thing I noticed already is they're a little bit stiffer, and that's really nice. I don't like very flexible soles. They're nice and generally, but when you go on the trails, it's good to have some support. The material is used looks well made, and I like the sole as well. It's their own brand, but the tread looks really nice, and it feels a kind of grippy just by the touch. But we're going to find out very shortly how this performs on the trail and on some rugged terrain. I paid about 200 Australian dollars for these boots. So far I walked around the 7 kilometers, so maybe around the 5 miles in these boots, and I have to say I'm quite impressed so far. First of all, I can feel a really nice support all around my foot, and another really important aspect is, and I mentioned that the sole, although it flexes as you would like and need for hiking shoes, but they don't flex as much as trainers. They provide some good support, which is very important when you walk through loose sand, for instance. I didn't mention, but they also have a waterproof liner. But as with any other waterproof liners and boots, you know, they only good enough when you use it in shallow puddles. I find that once waterproof shoes get wet from the inside, they take an awful long time to dry out. So one benefit if you don't have a waterproof liner is, every time you walk, you're basically squeezing out the water that builds up around the sole, which allows the boot to dry out quicker. And that's very important when you do longer walks. If it's just a day walk and you know you reach your car or home at the end of the day, not much of a problem. But if you are on the trails for 3 or more days, you need to look after your feet. I feel good support on the rock as well. No pressure points. The sole is flexible enough to absorb this kind of sharper, rocky edges. Well, this is the end of my walk. It also marks the end of my field test of the Salewa Alp hiking boots. And generally the grip of the sole is really good. They have some flex, but they're firm at the same time. That firmness in the sole is also very handy when you walk up a steep rock slab like the one here behind me. It allows you to use the ball of your foot very effectively without having too much of flex. For my liking, I should go half a size up. So I feel they're not necessarily true to size. Well guys, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please give it a thumbs up. It would be fantastic to have you as a subscriber to my channel. Otherwise guys, I hope to see you next time. Let me unpack these. Oopsie.